Police are investigating a fatal hit and run in Sydney's west overnight. Sunrise correspondent Sophie Hull is at the scene in Dean Park. Good morning to you, Sophie. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Beck. Look, it was around 12:30 this morning when a motorist driving along Richmond Road, just near the intersection with Quakers Hill Road in Dean Park, noticed a man slumped by the side of the road. He stopped to help, and this man was suffering some severe injuries. Emergency services were called and he was taken to Westmead Hospital, but later died as a result of those injuries. So Quakers Hill Police and the Special Crash Investigation Unit came to the scene, and they're pretty convinced that this man was hit by a vehicle, and a vehicle that will be suffering some extensive damage today, possibly to the passenger side and to the side mirror. So they have asked smash repairers to be on the lookout for a vehicle that may be suffering that kind of damage, but they've also asked for anyone with any information to come forward, and in particular they're looking for that driver to come forward. Beck?
OK, thank you very much, Sophie. A man has been arrested in Canberra following the theft of a car with a baby boy still in the back seat yesterday. 7 News reporter Mia Greaves joins me now from Canberra. Mia, the man was arrested after a brief police chase last night.
That's right, Beck. A 27-year-old Belconnen man was arrested last night after a brief pursuit. Police were looking for a man who had held up a Jamison pharmacy and with a knife, and he was demanding cash and drugs. And the man also fitted the description of the offender, wanted for the carjacking and kidnapping of a 7-month-old boy. The woman's car was stolen from her driveway in the suburb of Ngunnawal yesterday afternoon, and police issued a huge television and radio blitz to find the car and the child. The mother was reunited with her son 2 hours later in the suburb of Palmerston, just 2 kilometres away. Neighbours noticed a stolen car in a driveway and the sound of a baby crying on a back patio. We believe the house was also robbed before the offender somehow managed to rip the bonnet off the stolen car before he fled on foot. The man will face the ACT Magistrates Court later on today, and police have opposed bail. Beck?
Thank you very much, Mia Greaves. Collingwood rising star Marley Williams is facing 10 years jail after he was found guilty of grievous bodily harm for breaking a man's jaw in a one-punch attack. 7 News AFL reporter Tom Brown is in Melbourne. Tom, good to see you. This conviction will probably end his career, would you say?
Good morning, Beck. I think Collingwood will probably stick by him. He's relatively young, but this was a particularly serious attack, and at least in the short term, it'll throw his career into limbo. He'll be sentenced on the 22nd of April. There's obviously a lot of community concern at the moment about these type of one-punch incidents, and he faces the very real prospect of jail time. Now, Collingwood at this stage aren't commenting. I think they'll release a statement later this morning. At the time, in punishment for Williams putting himself in the situation, they directed him to do work with the Salvos. He's been doing that since. It was an interesting incident. There's two sides of the story. Williams claims that he was set upon in the toilets by 3 men, including the victim, and acted in self-defence. But the prosecution says it was a revenge attack. He has been bailed, Beck.
Tom Brown, thank you very much. A truce to stop deadly violence in the Ukraine has been shattered overnight, with the capital plummeting into renewed bloodshed. Medics are reporting up to 100 people have been killed as protesters and police clash, with sniper rifles being fired and petrol bombs thrown. This picture shows the damage caused to Kiev's Independence Square in the fighting over the past few days. EU envoys have held crisis talks with Ukraine's embattled president, agreeing to impose sanctions on officials responsible for violence and excessive force. A funeral will be held today for Luke Batty, who was killed by his father in Victoria last week. Luke was bashed and stabbed by his mentally ill father at cricket practice. A service will be held at Luke's school, the Flinders Christian Community College in Tyab, from 11 a.m. The public is welcome, with mourners asked to wear something yellow. The Abbott government is considering a radical plan to means test access to Medicare. Health Minister Peter Dutton says high-income earners shouldn't expect to be able to go to the doctor for free. Treasurer Joe Hockey has told Sunrise changes need to be made.
If our health and welfare and education systems stay exactly the same, Australia is going to run out of money to pay for them.
Part of the overhaul would allow health insurers to cover GP visits.